This is your episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take over. All right, hold on, Cody. Let's go ahead and do the clap.
We don't need to do the clap.
Yeah, we do.
Three, we already called
two,
it.
no, Cody, one.
Hey, come listen to our podcast, yeah. Please listen, it's a hitch. If you don't listen to our podcast, yeah, then you are a bitch.
Welcome everyone to the new episode of Filmoscopy. For the first time ever, I think this is the closest recording to post date that we've had. It will literally be 2 days from recording that this goes live.
Yeah, when we've done, this is our third one in person that we recorded together. I feel like
third or fourth, right?
Yeah. Well, see, no, I'm talking about like all three of us, because there's one me and you've done in person. There's one me and him have done, or a few we've done in person.
What?
We did the Grinch together. He wasn't able to make it.
All right.
Me and you did.
Y'all did a lot together because in the beginning y'all were recording together all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did the Space Jam commentary, which didn't work out too well. But we tried that.
Yeah.
I felt like we did another movie. Maybe I'm wrong.
We did one at my old house.
Okay.
And then I feel like we did Space Jam and we did Maximum Overdrive both at my house.
Yes, that's what it was.
So there have been three with all three of us.
Yeah,
I can't even remember watching Maximum Overdrive. Like, I don't even remember that we did that.
I think this is the first new release movie we've covered since the Batman. Like, we went to theaters to specifically see that. It wasn't released in time that we wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first one that we've done where it's like, we just watched the movie. It just came out 5 days ago, and here it is.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually, because I was going to say Evil Dead Rise, but I think with that one...
That one was already streaming.
It was streaming. I thought it went to streaming the same day as theaters. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, this was after pandemic.
Okay, so yeah.
Because me and Savannah, I watched it at the house I live in now.
Okay, so yeah, the Batman, I guess, was the last one we all went to the theater to go see, and then we made an episode on
This
it.
feels kind of like a big event.
Something
in my ass.
Is it hot in here to you guys?
No, it's
No,
not.
I'm
No,
Okay,
we're
I was
good.
just making sure.
It's good, man.
I can turn that fan on.
But I probably got chills because I
Relax.
urinate.
Relax. Okay, just relax.
I got those post-pee shivers that just pissed my pants. So.
But yeah.
Your
So
hair is very soft, though.
Thank you.
I wish I had the hair.
I use conditioner, so
I use cum.
yeah. A lot of that.
today we're covering Nosferatu, and that is the 2024 Nosferatu, directed by Robert Eggers.
No, we went back in time. This is 1922. It just released. This is before the court shut that shit down.
Nah, see?
We watched it.
Nah.
See,
Did you
this
guys-
is a illegal adaptation.
Nah, did you
Oh, my.
guys see that new vampire flick?
I had trouble reading, so I don't really know what was happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is Robert Eggers' new movie, released December 25th, 2024. We are recording this December 28th, 2024.
Would you say this is a Christmas movie?
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
Southern snow.
they do mention Christmas Yuletide or
Yeah,
something.
they
in
should
the
do
movie.
Do they? I didn't pay attention at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have a Christmas tree in one of the scenes.
Yeah,
Damn.
I can't remember her name.
This is like Die Hard now.
Yeah, there's a scene where the Lily Rose Depp's character is talking to Ellen. I think Ellen is the blonde, right?
Yeah, I should probably pull this up on Wikipedia for us.
Yeah, that probably
Sorry.
help.
My
But
bad.
they're talking. She's saying something like,
Look at my puffy nipples.
I need.
Yeah.
She says, "I need you to call the doctor back or like get him back here, or whatever."
These nipples are not right.
And she's like, just leave it be. It's the Christmas Yuletide or
And
whatever.
she goes, "My titties are too small.
She's like, yeah.
I look like an adolescent boy."
That's spoilers, actually. We should have said.
Well, I mean, there's titties in it, and there's a penis. It's not erect though. It's not an erect penis.
Yeah, I guess we should say now we're going full spoiler. We're not doing like what a lot of podcasters do, where they're like, "We're going to do 20 minutes of no spoilers." It's like, no.
Well,
Whoops.
Oh.
so here's the thing though too. So before we get into this, we have discussed. We've done all three Robert Eggers movies, right?
Yes.
You picked.
Yeah.
You had done The Witch.
I picked The Witch and
You
the
picked The
Northman.
Lighthouse and you did Northman. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had done, quote unquote, I guess his entire library that's been released as a big budget film. And if you go back in the So that'd be 2022 when we did The Northman, and before that we had done a little movie called Morbius.
Morbius.
It's like it's Morbin time, So I made the joke then that The Northman had a bigger budget and it's like critically acclaimed versus Morbius being critically panned, and Morbius still made more money than The Northman. And I made the joke on the Morbius episode that I bet you when he does Nosferatu, Morbius will still make more money than Nosferatu because they're vampire movies. Mm-hmm. And there's a quick little connection. The boat that Morbius is on when he does the final experimentation to become the scientific vampire, the living vampire, I guess I should say. It's named after the director of the original Nosferatu movie.
Oh, okay.
Wyndham. I don't know the guy's name. I'm not gonna look it up.
Wilhelm Scream.
Yeah. What's the other one? The Arnie Scream or whatever.
Right. What about the Army Hammer Scream? Oh, not my face! Stop eating me! Yeah. So I made the joke about that. So in preparation for watching this movie today, which I've been pretty stoked about, once we had a nailed down date, Cody goes, hey, why don't we record it this weekend? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm super stoked. At this point, I mean, I've seen a bunch of Dracula movies from the 30s and 40s on AMC Fear Fest at the time. I think it was Horror Fest, and then they changed it to Fear Fest. But last night I watched Bram Stoker's Dracula by Mr. Ford Francis Coppola and the well-mentioned Morbius in preparation for Nosferatu. And I can safely say Morbius is better than Nosferatu. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding with that.
Which one?
Yes.
All of them. Yeah, I guess I should say I watched the Werner Herzog. What was it, 1979?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you watch it on Tubi? Because it was on Tubi.
It's on YouTube also.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, it's
really?
free on YouTube. So.
Okay, so the character you're talking about,
what's Lily Rose Depp's character?
Her character is Ellen Hutter.
Okay, so
and Emma Corrin plays Anna Harding.
Anna is the one I was talking about that said like, oh, it's the Christmas Yuletide.
Really, this close to Christmas?
You want to come here this close to Christmas and cause a problem? So, yeah, as we mentioned, those two actresses play those characters. Bill Skarsgård plays Count Orlok. Willem Dafoe plays
Professor Albin von Franz. It's Eberhard von Franz, which is based off of... Okay, Nosferatu, if anybody who just does not care about movie lore, is the 1922 German illegal adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula. They changed all the names and a few of the locations and some of the appearances so they wouldn't get sued. Unfortunately, somebody was dumb enough to put in the epilogue of the movie that this was an adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Thus, most of the copies of the movie were destroyed. So this movie goes by the 1922 version of the names, not the Bram Stoker Dracula's character name. So, like, Abraham Van Helsing is technically William Dafoe's character, Albin von Franz. And then, like, let's see, Thomas Hutter, which is Nicholas Hoult, is Jonathan Harker. Interestingly enough, Nicholas Hoult played in Renfield.
Yes.
As Renfield in...
fantastic movie.
Yeah, in... which is an adaptation of Dracula. So Universal...
I wouldn't even call it an adaptation of Dracula. It's more like a...
Well, I mean, it's got Dracula name, and it's adapting his intellectual property.
It is, but the story itself isn't really like the story of Dracula. It's like Renfield is trying to escape like serving Dracula.
Yes.
And he's like in like
an abusive relationship.
He's in an abusive relationship, and he goes to like a group therapy thing, and like Dracula.
I've seen that, yeah.
So it's like this weird like take on all of it, but
so I haven't seen that movie, but Universal last year released Renfield. They also released The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is a period piece kind of like this. I do think Robert Eggers has the aesthetic of whatever period he wants to film in completely nailed down. Like, it feels like, okay, there's no breach in the movie where you sit there and go, okay, that just brought me back to reality. You're submersed in this world. The Demeter doesn't quite nail that down. Still think it's good. Dracula in that movie looks like Nosferatu, but he's more bat-like. He has the wings and shit like that because it's literally just the chapter of the Demeter from the book expanded into almost 2-hour movie.
That's crazy. I still need to see that movie, but
I think it's worth the watch. I liked it. Savannah my girlfriend probably felt like, excuse me, I was about to joke. It was like Savannah, my girlfriend, my cohort, my beard. No. I'm joking. No, she probably said she wouldn't watch it again, excuse me. And quit farting. I heard you fart. Okay, real quick, when we left the Golden Corral.
That was the chair. I swear.
He goes, I gotta fart real quick. He goes outside, and there's some dude in the car next to him, and you hear a like it was very audible, and I just couldn't help but like fucking start cracking the fuck up. It was just
that Golden Corral, dude.
It was so fucking good. He's like
tears out your stomach.
It's that soft serve ice cream.
When we were leaving, there was some car parked, and the front seat cover had like a bunch of hentai faces and like with cum all over them.
And they had their tongues out going,
yeah, that's no bullshit.
When y'all were walking past that car, I was like, I looked over and I just thought it was like generic, like anime stuff. I didn't hear what you said it was specifically.
No, yeah, straight. They were all like coming. There was like
they come on the face
all
and
over the
everything.
face and shit.
It was fucking hilarious.
Man.
But no, so getting back to what we were, like Cody's gonna go over the cast. Fucking star-studded cast, I will say this. And I will say Miss Depp did a really good job.
Yeah, I mean we've gone over the majority of them. The only other ones I think we need are the Nicholas Holt's boss, the one that sends him to Transylvania.
So it's Hernock.
Hernock.
Hernock. He's based on Renfield, even though Renfield wasn't the employer. Renfield was another lawyer that Dracula.
Yeah, he was the one that went before.
I think,
or whatever. Right?
I think in the original Nosferatu, he is like their boss or something.
Oh, is he? Okay.
I think.
So, and then the other one would be the other doctor, the one that was played by the same guy that was in The Witch.
Yeah, that's Dr. Wilhelm Sievers, based on John Seward. That's Ralph Ineson.
Oh yeah, and Aaron Taylor Johnson's character.
You mean Craven?
Craven, yeah.
So yeah. So in that movie, it's.
So yeah, I mean,
it's interesting because Lucy, Western, whatever. That's Anna Harding's, Bram Stoker's counterpart. This one's played by Emma Corrin. She's a whore in most of these Dracula things. Like she's got 3 suitors. They're always chasing after her in the Dracula adaptations.
Yeah.
This one, she is married with 2 kids, pregnant with a 3rd. Very wholesome. And I was not expecting what to happen to her kids, what actually fucking happened.
Oh yeah, that got me too. It was like,
I'm like, holy fuck!
I
didn't know how far they would do it, but like seeing their little bodies and shit was kind of like
because I figured they would die, right? I figured like everyone in that family was going to die somehow, but I thought it was going to be like an off-screen.
I really thought it was going to end up being like, well, she's on, because I know the ending of this movie walking into it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, she's just going to sacrifice herself. It's like,
yeah,
no. So in this one, when Dracula latches on to everybody's titty to drink the blood,
he's not biting their titties. He's biting them like right in the middle of the chest.
To the left.
He scraped the dick. To the left.
No.
He did. Like Holtz is like, it's like a little bit on the titty.
He sucks.
Right where on his breastbone is, right here.
Well, it's like right
so I wonder if he's doing it because that's where the heart is. He's drinking blood from the heart.
The first bite that Holt's character has is on like the side, like one to one side. But the second one that he later on when he shows Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, when he shows him like, look, it's real. It's like right in the middle of his chest.
So that's continuity error.
Well, he gets fed on more than once.
No, I know, but it's like, when he's biting on Lily Rose Depp, he's also like right there next to her titty. So I wonder if it's like the bite. Is he going for the heart?
Yeah, I think that's
instead of
because earlier, in the scene where she tells Thomas. When they have that thing like where she's like, you could never love me as he did, and they end up. And
she's straight up got that face on that car.
Yeah, she's kissing his dick and stuff.
When he's like screwing her, she says like, "Kiss me on the heart." So I think that is
interesting. Interesting.
What do you think they did? They changed I mean, does it make it like
more intimate because you're going like towards
I feel
the
like
heart?
the neck's pretty intimate though too. So.
Yeah, but I think okay. Well, I guess we'll get into that part. I think that Eggers did Nosferatu partly because he loved probably the silent film and he's a weirdo like that. But I think also like who's got the biggest name value, Count Orlok or Count Dracula?
I mean Dracula, but
Oh, hold on, let me finish my point.
Count Horlock.
Count Horlock. My thing is like I feel like he is so like I don't want anything touching this movie. There's only been 2 versions. Cody's looking at his phone intently.
yeah,
Except from
listening.
Timu.
I'm listening.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, I get an alert. Someone was at my front door, but
It was me.
Amazon's.
How'd you know?
There's just 2 Amazons.
Amazonians is like Wonder Woman and her lesbian sister.
2 tall naked women.
I was like, whoa.
He's
Damn
like,
it,
whoa,
I
guys,
gotta go.
stop the podcast.
Why does it always show up when Stephanie's not at home?
He's like, damn it, I'm not there.
So, I believe Eggers, like, of everything he said, I think he said something to the extent I watched the interview where he said, why not just do another Dracula adaptation versus a Nosferatu adaptation? And he said, well, there's a lot of, like, it's too much Victorian in the Dracula story.
It's very the gothic romantic style.
And we've talked about, we were on the way to Golden Corral. I was talking to Owen. I'm like, the Dracula iteration from the 1932 movie, I want to say, is Bela Lugosi.
Mm.
Just dark-haired aristocrat, good-looking guy. Not
Aristocrat.
Aristocrat.
You said aristocrat. Like
No,
that.
Aristocrat. I meant that on purpose.
Well, the Aristocats is that Disney movie.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's exactly what I meant. He's got feline personality features. No, I'm the aristocrat. Excuse me for calling out my fucking lingo, Cody. I'm sure that will happen from me to you. Don't worry. No, but
day will come.
my thing is like, so Dracula's the good-looking diplomat in that movie. He's charming. You don't look at that movie or adaptation at any point going forward until probably the 1979 version of Nosferatu. You don't sit there. He's walking death. Yeah. You don't see that whatsoever. So
because I've never seen that original Dracula.
It's a very good movie.
So
there's no music in it. There is a musical version.
So even like when Harker or whoever goes to the castle in the beginning, so Bela Lugosi just looks like Bela Lugosi. He doesn't look like all decrepit and.
Well, no, he does.
Like
He wears a cape. He's like, the line from Bram Stoker's Dracula. He goes, the creatures of the night. What music they make? That come from that come from Bela Lugosi's version of it. But
listen to them,
this
children
of the night. So I never drink wine, shit like that. So that Dracula is not a book accurate description of Dracula.
Yeah.
If we don't have that Dracula going forward for the next 70 years, is there a Twilight movie? Because every iteration of Dracula gets more and more attractive. Every vampire that comes after him, Lost Boys, obviously getting to Underworld, Twilight, they're all good-looking individuals based off of what's popular at the time. So,
but at least not with Twilight necessarily, because Twilight's like, I haven't fed, so my eyes are turning black instead of like gold or red.
Yeah, and I'm just talking about like that's the evolution we got, right. And we never completely escaped that.
Even like Underworld has, I feel like, because in the first Underworld when she revives like the ancestor, I can't remember. Bill Nighy's character or whatever.
Yeah, that's.
He's all like decrepit
Victor.
looking. Yeah, Victor.
Yeah, but he has to take the blood to become that. And then later on, when they wake up, Marcus, who's the twin brother of the first werewolf, William, and you see him in that weird bat form, which is obviously a takeoff like the Nosferatu look, but that's because he's become a hybrid. He was revived with werewolf lichen blood.
Yeah.
But you've had all these things now. There's nothing terrifying about that look anymore.
Right.
So, and like even, and as I wouldn't say art house, that Francis Ford Coppola Dracula movie is almost like a stage play in most parts of it.
Yeah.
Then and then it becomes a movie at some point.
And Gary Oldman is never intimidating in that movie whatsoever.
No, not at all. When he looks like a werewolf, he looks like a fucking chia pet.
Yeah, when he's the old man, he's just got that great big bouffant.
Yeah,
He's like titties on his head.
Yeah, whenever I saw a picture of that movie of him, I always thought it was from like a parody or some shit.
Did you think it was like Little Nicky when the guy's got the boobs on his head?
That's what I'm trying to think of. He wears the bra on his head.
Yeah, kind of.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
but,
he looks kind of goofy, right?
So, I think Eggers also, when he did this movie, like, Nosferatu's been touched 3 times. Mm-hmm. Salem's Lot, the original, because that's the way he looks. Yeah. He's blue skin. He looks like if Piccolo fucked Nosferatu. The Nosferatu 79 movie and the 22 movie. So he's like, let's just go off of this. And his Nosferatu doesn't look like any Dracula adaptation we've ever seen yet.
Yeah, and we were talking about before, because from what I've read, it looks like that the version they went with in this movie was more like the original book.
Yeah,
because
he's not supposed to be attractive. It's supposed to be a plague.
See, and that's something else that got me too going through the movie, because I'll say this, and then there's another point I want to make about like Nosferatu or Nosferatu's look in the movie. But I was half expecting him, as he kept feeding on people, like he's going to improve. He would start looking better, but like sexy. Straight from beginning to end.
This is what he is, walking death.
But I also think it's really clever, and I like that they did this because, obviously, I mean, I don't think any of us were scared by this movie, right? Like, it's not something we're going to be thinking about.
There's like 3 good jump scares.
Yeah, but as far as, like the idea of it, it's not, like, scary to us. I mean, but it's something still that I wish more horror movies would kind of do, and it's something I've referenced the same point with, like, the 2016 Blair Witch movie. Mm-hmm. They do a good job in this movie, or Eggers does a good job in this movie of hiding Count Orlok for pretty much the entire movie. He's always cast in shadow or obstructed by something. Even like when he's in like a more lit situation, obviously he's not in full sunlight until the end. Yeah. But even when he's in a better lit situation, like when Thomas shows up and they're like at the dinner or whatever. He's always out of focus. Yeah. So I think it's a good decision. And then I like at the end when the sun comes in, that's when you really, for the first time, fully see him in detail.
He's all shriveled.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job of even when he's in shadow, he has like this very huge presence.
Yeah. Like, I was thinking about that too. It's like, damn, he has to be like almost 7 foot tall or something.
Well, Skarsgård is like, that cat himself is like tall. He's probably like 6'3", 6'4". Mm-hmm. He's also wearing Orlok heels to be even taller.
Yeah.
I would say, like, for me, I'd have to disagree on that part.
Okay.
Where that he's well hidden. Once you see his face like 3 times. Yeah. Like when he's up on top of her at the beginning, holding her throat, you see it for a split second.
Yeah.
Then you see his eyes and the mustache.
Yeah. Right, but
at the fireplace. But when he's like, when he gets to the point where they're having that conversation, him and Lily Rose Depp, they're talking. It's no longer scary anymore.
You're talking about the 3
in the bedroom before he bites on Emma Corrin's character.
Yeah.
At that point, he's no longer scary to me. Well, There's nothing.
He was never scary to me at all. Yeah, really. I just think it was a good job of like obstructing his, because you do see his face some, but you never see like his.
Yeah. I think he's intimidating, but he's not like
right.
You guys
like
are
a scary monster.
A bunch of short bitches. Though. I'm not scared of somebody short.
Well, he is intimidating, right? Because but again, he's not scary.
Me and Lance are afraid of him. I changed my mind.
But
I just creamed my pants.
But I'd win.
I pooped in your chair. Sorry.
The point I was trying to make is that too many horror movies are like, okay, we're gonna kind of like tease the whatever it is, right? The entity, the monster, whatever.
Yeah, they never give us the goods.
And then they do it too much.
The Conjuring 2.
The Mama is another good example. Mm-hmm. Mama creeped me the fuck out until like the last 10 minutes of the movie. It's like, I'm not scared of this anymore because you're showing her way too much.
Yeah.
What about that movie? Is it Lights Out?
Lights Out, yeah, that's another one.
That one's great up until like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
To me, The Conjuring 2 was fucking terrifying.
Until you see the nun too much.
And then you're like, that's just Marilyn Manson. Like, I've been watching this shit since 2002. What's scary about this?
It's just...
Yeah.
You have to say her name.
I mean, I was thinking about... Before we watched this, I was thinking like... I'm not sure what you could really necessarily do to make like a vampire scary in like the modern.
Yeah,
day.
it's too old of a concept at this point to really be. Scary.
I think it can still be done. You have to have the right person doing it, and Eggers does a good job. But Eggers is his point. It was making this movie from Lily Rose's Depp's character's point of view.
Mm.
Everybody else is just a side character. This is her journey. He talked about that in the interview. If someone was to set out to make a terrifying vampire movie, and this movie's like terrifying, like I said, I'm not scared of it. I was disturbed when I watched The Witch the first time, and it fucked with me for a couple of days.
Yeah.
The Lighthouse is just fucking weird. I tried to just flush it out of my brain. I didn't like that. I talked about that.
Mermaid,
and then the
Mermaid
Northman.
I kept
that was the best part. What are you talking about? The Mermaid. The Northman was pretty good. Like, The Witch disturbed me.
Yeah.
The effects of this movie, because I knew exactly where it was going, left me about 15 minutes before the credits rolled. I was already over the experience of the movie.
Yeah, I
that's
guess
from my
you're right.
perspective.
But The Witch is so like
it's fresh. It's new.
Way in the back. Like you almost never see like the full effects of like The Witch is never.
The one time the witch is in full view is when
they're masturbating in the fire.
Yeah, she's always.
Well, not that. When she's grinding up the baby.
Yeah,
after she's kidnapped.
And they have a sequence like that where he's like, when he's sucking on not Renfield, whoever the Jonathan Harker stand-in is, and he's like sucking on him.
Nicholas Holt's character.
I think that was supposed to be one of those sequences where it's like. Yeah.
Thomas.
He does that thing where he cuts the music and then he just shows you something that's supposed to be kind of like creepy.
Disturbing.
Yeah.
Because that's the same thing with that scene from The Witch. To me, it's not scary. It's just very like disturbing. It's like this is like kind of fucked up.
Did
like,
it get you a little bit? Because I mean, it didn't really get me. But
what?
Like was that disturbing?
The Witch or the
no the part where he's like sucking on.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, it was kind of gross.
Yeah, because that's kind of. It is slightly. It was a little disturbing, but it's also like a lot of. It's kind of a mixture of like disgusting too, because it's like
I think that's something
squeamish when it comes to that kind of like gore.
Yeah,
like we watch Friday the 13th movies. They don't scare me.
Yeah,
but getting the visual more than a couple of seconds, him like latching onto his chest and the blood drinking because I can visualize the blood. Yeah. It grosses me out. So it's more grotesque to me than it is scary.
I think that might have been something that it seems like that was what he was leaning into. That kind of disgust.
Grotesque, which is cool. I think maybe he thought, and he probably did because he's a smart guy. Maybe he thought, well, there's no way I can make this scary any other way. I have to put this stuff spread out throughout the movie to keep them drawn into the discussion.
But even like Owen was saying, like that is like at this point we can kind of say that is sort of a staple of Eggers' style, right? Because it's like that. There's scenes like that in The Lighthouse. There's scenes like that in The Northman, even where you just get this like silent, like kind of like messed up or disturbing sort of like imagery going on.
Yeah.
And
the ass.
Lance just held up a book called The Assault, and Lance covered up the AULT and assault. So
this is like the ass.
But I do want to ask y'all this: out of all of his movies, which of his movies do you think this one is better? This one is better than, and which ones do you think it's not better than?
I would.
So, from a perspective of how well it's made or how it affected us.
I think just your overall view. I mean, obviously, it's well made. All of his movies are well made. Yeah, I think we can agree on that. But
I feel like this is his best made movie. Mm-hmm. Cohesion, everything, but also it's an adaptation of another story.
Right.
So it wasn't like he had to deviate anything.
Well, so was The Northman, though. That was Macbeth.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
he also changed enough of that. This was like straight up. We're just ripping off the 22 movie because it's been 102 years.
So with the Northman, he was trying to. So I guess Macbeth was like originally some Viking story or some shit. So that's why he was trying to kind of take it back. I always just
thought. I guess Shakespeare took it.
Yeah, I think that's the.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say this is his best made movie. The one that disturbed me the most would be The Witch. Like that's the one that sticks with me the most. Like because the Northman. Great fun movie. I have no interest watching it ever again. The Lighthouse, couldn't tell you what the fuck it was about. Don't even care anymore. I would never watch that movie again. I remember mermaid titties. That's it. That's all I care about. In this movie, well made, from everything expected. The Witch is what made me excited for Nosferatu to be watched because that movie disturbed the fuck out of me. I remember saying back then, I am excited for a vampire movie that's actually scary. Mm-hmm. And I got that in a few instances in this movie where it made me jump scare, like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like, that's got me.
Yeah,
But
We'll come back to that.
yeah, but everything else in this movie was like, I mean, like I said, I had just watched Bram Stoker's Dracula the night before.
Which isn't scary whatsoever.
It's not scary, but the beat for beat story is the exact same.
It's more sexy.
And when we pulled in the theater, I was telling Owens, like, I kind of hope he does something different from the ending, because this story's been out there for over 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, give us a little something different.
It could be just
And it
one
didn't,
of
though.
it could be. Going back to
Again, hey man, we got recorded in person and we all got COVID after making out.
We were talking about this when we were eating lunch, but like, you know, he did say at one point after he made The Witch, he was like, I really want to remake Nosferatu, but I feel like it. I don't remember the exact word, but it was basically along the lines of, I feel like it's too pretentious of me to think that I can do this right now. So he wanted to wait until he had a few more movies under his belt before doing it.
So that was his stated vision. He just wanted to remake Nosferatu.
Yeah, like he wanted to do it because
A modern it's like one of interpretation of the movie.
Yeah, it's one of his favorite movies of all time. So I think that he wasn't. I didn't go in expecting him to like drastically change anything.
Yeah.
I do think that it, like you were pointing out, like the look, like the Dracula idea of like being this handsome, charming type of. I think that it has an opportunity to change that perspective.
Yeah, but unfortunately, this is Orlok. No one's going to remember this is Dracula.
Because unfortunately, too, a lot of people that go see this aren't really going to know, like, oh, this is... We talk about this, too, but how many people that go to the theater to see this really even know what the story beats of Dracula are?
Yeah.
You know, or do they just know Dracula as vampire, handsome... lives in Transylvania, you know, like that's it.
Hotel Transylvania. They're like, that's Dracula. We're like, what the fuck? Where's Adam Sandler?
Where's the mummy and the goo monster?
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, and for me, it's like, and I know I keep harping back on like, well, this is a illegal adaptation of Dracula originally. It's because I want to make sure the people who came up with the story get enough credit. Mm-hmm. I'm very much, when we talk about things, about giving the actual credit that's due. If I find out like, oh shit, I was wrong about something, I feel guilty as hell. I want to make sure. I don't like public perception being wrong about something. I don't want to attribute to that. Yeah. So did you draw a penis? How many penis? You drawn 3 dicks over there?
No, those are all smiley faces.
Oh, they're dicks. He's like, I've been drawing this monster cock over here with a bunch of hair and veins on it. So you know, I guess we go over like. So, in instance, let's go ahead and do this. Hold on,
because Owen and I never went over which ones of these movies we thought.
Oh, the heroin part, right?
Yeah. Owen,
he's drawing a cock right now.
Which of his movies do you think that this one is better than?
So, if I had to say...
Hold on 1 second. I'll say it. $5 says it's the second one.
Oh, second. Like, it's above everything except for one.
Can I get that shit?
Yeah, no, I know what the answer's going to be.
Well, I like The Lighthouse the most.
Exactly, I knew it.
So I think The Lighthouse is better. I think The Witch, because it is original and what Lance was saying, you know, it has that staying power being very disturbing. I think The Witch was better. But I would probably put this about on the same level as The Northman.
Okay, yeah.
So it's tied.
I think I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it about as much as I enjoyed The Northman.
Which one would you rewatch first?
I mean, it could go either way. I would probably. There's probably more opportunities for me to rewatch this one though, because it's so. You know, it's about a vampire and it's scary.
The Northman's also like a really long movie.
Yeah, that's it.
So for you, it's
I have to be like, I want to watch a fucking Viking movie, dude.
So for you, it's Lighthouse 1, The Witch.
Yeah, the Vivitch.
The Nosferatu, and then The Northman.
Well,
right.
So the same level, basically.
On the same level, but rewatchability. That's how I break the tie. You're gonna say Nosferatu's above The Northman? Like you're gonna rewatch it first?
I mean, I would probably this would be above The Northman, yes, but it probably would be on the same level as The Witch.
Yeah. So,
okay. Well, no. See, what I'm saying from perspective of what you just said.
Yeah, as rewatchability, like I would go back.
The rewatchability is what I broke your tie of 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So you said like it's gonna be The Lighthouse, and then The Witch because it's an original story, and then you put these two as kind of a tie. But then I asked you which of the two would you rewatch more. You would say Nosferatu, so that's how I broke that tie. Instead of saying 3 and 4 the exact same, 3A, 3B. Yeah. Does that make sense, Cracker?
No.
Okay. So and then like mine would be The Witch, Nosferatu, The Northman, and The Lighthouse. If I was to rank them.
See, for me, it would probably be The Witch.
Okay.
Bitch. More like the bitch.
Don't do it. I almost fell in that trap of doing the jokes we talked about not doing.
No. It's
No, I'm just hungry. You're like, I'm like,
He's coming. He's coming. Oh, he's
Oh.
No.
no. Stop it.
Stop it! Stop it! Turn it off!
stop it! Stop it! Halloween 3. Stop it!
For me, it would be The Witch, and then it's hard to say because we just watched this movie, but I might put The Lighthouse right above this one for right now.
There's
and
still
then,
a honeymoon phase.
Yeah,
too.
right. And then it'd be this, and then The Northman. I like The Northman, but again, it's such a long movie. Like it's hard to, and it's great, but I love his horror stuff more, and I think that The Northman, you just got to be in that right mindset to like, okay, I want to watch a movie that's like almost 3 hours long.
Yeah. It is kind of funny how even in The Northman he does have like horror elements and shit. I guess that's just what he does strong.
It's interesting that for me, from perspective, I remember when I was younger, man, I wish this movie was a little bit longer. Whatever movie I'm watching that I like a lot, like The Fugitive. I wish The Fugitive was like another 15 minutes. Or
The Fugitive is long, but it's like...
No, it's only like an hour and like 40 minutes.
Really? I thought it was like three hours.
Hell no, it wasn't.
You may be thinking of something else.
You're thinking about the Batman.
The Bad Ham.
The Bad Ham. No, but so like always, and now we're getting movies that are longer. Like for me, I wish like the Venom movies were about 10 minutes longer to let each scene breathe a little bit more. But like last night, we watched Morbius, and I made Savannah watch the Dracula movie, and she was tired. She worked at 6:45 that morning, so that means she got up at 4 o'clock. And we got done watching movies at like 11. So she was getting a little tired of like watching the Dracula movie. It took her a while. I'm like, look. So I'm like, I asked her just from a general perspective. Don't care about the lore of these movies, what goes into them. Which would you rather watch again, Morbius or the Dracula movie? She goes, Morbius. Just because Morbius is a shorter movie, it's more entertaining. But also I asked her, how about Morbius or the Batman? And she goes Morbius.
It's funny though because like I'm pretty sure all of us agreed, or at least I know we agreed when we covered Morbius. That movie suffers from being too short because it definitely feels like a movie that the studio went in and they're like, oh, they may have done some test screenings where like a couple people are like, I don't know about that scene, and so they just cut a lot of stuff out, and then it feels like the whole thing's rushed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's also that Sony makes it, and they don't like that Sony made it.
Yeah.
And then also Leto's a little weird, so that public reputation goes against that. And no one really cares about Morbius as a character.
What if I wanted to break?
What if he sucked people with his tentacles?
With his hands?
Yeah.
Well, like in the Spider-Man cartoon?
Oh, yeah, what if he...
No, seriously, it was like in the...
Yeah, that's why I was saying.
Yeah, he had the little suckers because they had to get by the vampire shit.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, for this movie, again, it feels kind of like... So when you're watching, like, the Batman Begins of those three movies is probably the most boring because it has enough time to set up. But it's only like 2 hours and like 25, 30 minutes. The Dark Knight, the best one of the trilogy, 2 hours, 40 minutes. Dark Knight Rises, 2 hours and 45 minutes. Then you have The Batman, the first of the trilogy. That movie's 2 hours and 50 minutes long. It's a little too fucking long.
Yeah.
It could be cut down. And then this movie kind of feels like they slow it down too much in some instances. This movie doesn't have to be 2 hours and 10 minutes. It could have been an hour and 50. Some of the shit you could have cut out. I understand what he's trying to establish, but some of that stuff just feels like
I felt like it was
jerking off cinematography.
After watching the Herzog version, I felt like he cut out a lot of the shit that I had issues with that Herzog version. Because there's like this long sequence in that one where he like spends a lot of time at that like Romanian tavern and shit like that.
Tell me the side. Stop.
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
So he spends a lot of time in that fucking like Romanian inn and shit, and then like there's a lot of setup for him going into the castle and
the Romanian inn, is that the gypsy part, or is that the part where he's getting healed?
That's the
Covenant part, right? Would you call it when he goes to the nun monastery?
Yeah, well he kind of combines the nun monastery and the inn together.
Okay, gotcha. So he just ends up going back to the same place.
Yeah, he ends up going back. He's like, shit.
Look, I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
I forgot my back.
Look, guys, I'm not gonna lie. You were right. I shouldn't have went. Should not have went to this guy.
Full disclosure, you guys are right.
You're right. I did sell the property. I got the fucking money. Let's fucking party.
I don't.
Give me one of those gypsy whores. My wife the only gotta know.
I didn't have a problem with the pacing in this at all.
That's just me. I'm a basic bitch. It's fine.
The scary moments of the film. There were like 2 or 3 jump scares, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
that got me good.
yeah, I jumped hard at 2 of them for sure.
Oh,
yeah. I pooped. But one of them
in my pants.
The first one was. God, what was the first one?
So I know the boat scene got us.
The boat scene got us. There's one earlier than that.
Yeah, that's when
in the
fucking when he's in the coffin. He goes to the pitch.
He catches the
fucking pitch
axe.
pitch axe.
Yeah.
And he catches. Like I said, I legitimately thought that was going to be a scene where he wakes, because they've done it to us twice. She's had the dream in the beginning where Nosferatu grabs her by the throat and she's choking out. That's kind of hinted, not hinted, but it's kind of almost feels like a dream sequence. Then he has a thing where he sees the gypsies about to behead Nosferatu in the grave. He wakes up, there's mud on his boots. So they got us with that one, that was a dream sequence, even though it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then you get this part, he's about to walk up to the grave. I'm like, he's about to do this shit. I thought Orlok was going to catch it, and then he was going to wake the fuck up. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
No. This was reality,
real.
because it was still daylight, though.
Yeah. But he's as long as he's not out in the sunlight, I think he's fine.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he's supposed to be like in his soul. And then in the original Dracula, the thing they changed is that Dracula can be in the sunlight. He's just not powerful.
Mm.
So the later adaptations where sunlight kills him, that's something that was put on by Hollywood. And then obviously they used it for this movie and for the original Nosferatu. But Dracula can live in sunlight. He's just not powerful like he is. His powers are diminished.
I guess in this movie they also don't specify that he needs to be asleep or hidden away necessarily by the time the sun rises. He needs to be
in a box of soil.
Right.
Yeah.
So or
because in this one he just dies. I mean, in the Nosferatu I watched, they had to like finish him off.
yeah. So like in this
Yeah, they jerk him off.
in this one, like, because technically
They
he's
say, hold on.
Dude, look at this fucking novelist guy, man. Look at crazy.
but yeah, technically in this one he's on his own like soil, because basically his whole property is where he needs to be, right?
Yeah, but he has all those boxes with the decrepit soil.
He said, "Get the hell off my property."
So the reason
"You get off that property right now, goddammit! Listen here,
this
goddammit!
here's my soil.
This right here. Don't tread on me." Well, no, talking about the power, like, so the boxes of soil.
Yeah. So
they did a really good job. They have rats in all the boxes that he's living in, and then the soil does look like discolored and shit, which is really good.
But the second moment that the second jump scare was on the boat, where people are dying off because they
have the plague.
contract the plague,
which is a really good thing in this movie that they show, because they always talk about he's walking death. He brings a plague wherever he goes. You never ever see that in a movie.
Yeah.
And you see it in this movie.
Yeah.
It's of course special effects, you can kind of do that kind of shit, but it really shows the rats overrunning the city, becoming a plague. That doesn't happen in the Coppola Dracula movie. It doesn't have any Dracula.
No, he just kind of walks around on the street with his like suit and his little top hat and his little tiny sunglasses.
What about Nosferatu?
It's bright.
The Nosferatu 79 movie.
And Werner Herzog's like, yeah, it's a huge plot point that there's the plague. And
so
of course, you've read about the rats and shit.
Yeah. Like,
that he
Splinter.
abused.
The rats have turtles at the train.
Yeah. Teenage Ninja Turtle.
Heroes in
also, one of like the creepiest shots that wasn't a jump scare is in that same scene where the guy's walking toward the box.
Yeah, and you see something move.
You see it's his back, like he's hiding in like whatever's hanging off the thing.
It looks just like the tarp that's hanging down.
Yeah, and you see him move, and it's like, oh shit! Like that part was a little bit like make your heart sink a tiny bit.
Are you waiting for a phone call?
No, I'm just checking the time, and because I was telling Owen like it's supposed to start storming like around 4:30, so I'm just trying to make sure I get out of here and all that. I don't want to die in a wreck.
That's not gonna storm.
He doesn't want to die in Iraq.
He doesn't want to die in Iraq.
I don't want to
Never
die.
forget. Never
I don't want to wait. What do you think about his cadence when he speaks?
Oh,
that's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some people might have an issue with it, with like being able to understand him.
And
that was the issue I had with The Witch, with the dad or whatever. Cause I'm like, the first time I watched The Witch, I had to watch it with subtitles, so I cannot understand what he is saying.
I feel like there's going to be some people out there that are going to have issues with
but I think
the dialogue.
There's no digital enhancements to his voice. He talk. He worked with a baritone like singer, and lowered his voice to do that, which is pretty fucking incredible. I think the voice is incredible. Not as good as the Venom voice from Tom Hardy. But no, seriously, like all seriousness for him.
Hello, Eddie.
Eddie, come on, Eddie.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my dog.
Hello, my baby. Yeah, like Louis Armstrong impression. Give me a kiss, no better dream on.
Like, he's like, what was he? Goes like, I see dreams, right? And and I say to myself, Cadillac is fucking ugly. No, I think his cadence is great. Like I said, I don't have any every performance in this movie is at least very good to great. Everything about this movie,
unlike Bram Stoker's Dracula, where you have Keanu Reeves in it, who kind of
he's like, ugh.
Is that my ham sandwich?
He's like, whoa, dude, incredible.
Like, dude, I've been trying to find Patrick Swayze. He crashed on a wave, and
he's like, that's
I'm trying to figure out
wrong
what's
movie,
going on.
Keanu. Wrong movie.
Hey, you guys play this new game called Sonic?
That's totally
I might want to work with this
bogus,
franchise
dude.
one day, bro.
Keanu-
And somebody just killed my fucking dog, bro.
I think Keanu Reeves has obviously improved a lot as an actor, but back then it was like you've got one lane that you need to stay in.
Keanu Reeves, and this is nothing against him, because Robert Eggers said this about Harrison Ford. Mm-hmm. He watched The Fugitive on the plane, which I'm like, that's my guy. He goes, Harrison Ford plays great at Harrison Ford. There's nothing wrong with that, but Bill Skarsgård is able to play different characters.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves plays Keanu Reeves in every movie. It's a little different. Pitch is a little higher. Pitch is a little bit darker. It's Keanu Reeves. Kind of like Denzel Washington. Great fucking actor. He plays Denzel Washington. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and
if you write a character...
The Rock is The Rock.
Exactly. But if you write a character in all these movies that fits that person, and that person carries the movie, it's great writing and it's great acting. Yeah. This right here is great acting, but he's using prosthetics. It's not like you don't see Bill Skarsgård acting as Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah.
In movies, he is Pennywise, and now he's Count Orlok.
Yeah, you can't pin down a what he would be like if it was just himself.
Yeah, I know his brother played in True Blood as a vampire.
Bill Skarsgård is my favorite Skarsgård. So yeah. I guess
but no, the older one's the one that did the Northman, isn't it?
I thought we looked that up, and the last names are different. But let me look.
Maybe it is different. I thought it was the thing.
Because I think we got confused about that before. It's like, oh yeah, Skarsgård, but for some reason, no, that's Skarsgård, Alexander
Skarsgård. He's also the one that played the.
Yeah, he's Bill Skarsgård's brother.
Yeah, he's the older brother. Alexander Skarsgård's the one who played fucking. Golly damn, what is that fucking jungle movie?
Jungle Book.
Not fucker, no. No, it's the fucking not George Tarzan. It's got Samuel L. Jackson in it. He's the one that plays Tarzan. The long hair. He also plays in Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah. Infinity Pool. I forgot he was in Infinity Pool.
So be good at, but you don't. Bill Skarsgård right now. He's a character actor at this point.
Yeah,
we know. There's no problem.
They did an interview with him leading up to this movie where. I don't remember who. It was one of those late night show hosts. I don't keep up with him anymore since Conan O'Brien doesn't do late night anymore. Died? No, he does a podcast now.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do late night.
Oh.
And he has a travel show on Max, which is pretty funny. But anyway, he did an interview with one of the Jimmys or whatever. And
Jimmy, always shake your Jimmy.
And
crank that.
They asked him specifically, it's like, what is it about playing these monsters that you like so much? He's like, I just like playing these characters that don't represent what I am in real life,
He gets to pretend to be something.
You know who else is a character actor? Jared Leto.
Yeah. Dude, Jared Leto catches a lot of crap because he is kind of a weirdo in real life.
No, he's very much a weirdo, but he's a very good actor.
He is a great actor.
He had to stay in character for Morbius.
Yeah, but when he played
he had to. What's that fucking term called where you pretend to be the character?
Method acting.
Yeah, he's method acting Morbius.
I mean, he method acts like a motherfucker when he was on, and he's really good in this movie. I don't think you ever watched it. Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, I need to.
Something we're going to have to watch for the podcast. You're never going to watch it. He plays a blind character. He's the CEO of the corporation that makes the replicants.
Did he pretend to be blind?
He had fucking blind contacts and had people carry him to the set.
Oh my
He
God.
said, "No, I'm serious.
It's funny though.
It is. No, I'm
Like
serious.
you gotta imagine it being like at a restaurant or something. He's like, oh, I'm blind. Can you get? And his ass can see.
Yeah,
Like and he's like making.
This
people
is the part
fucking,
that
like,
kills me. He works with Harrison Ford in the movie, and they say, "Well, how was your interaction with Harrison?" He goes, "I didn't see him." He goes.
fucking way,
He
dude.
said, "I wore the contacts, obviously, but he was saying, he's like, I was so nervous being around Harrison Ford because he loves like all of his movies and shit like that. Harrison Ford's like, I didn't have any interaction with him. Harrison Ford, it's a job that he makes good money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's always known it. I've been defending Harrison Ford since I've known you. It took you a long time to come around on it.
You didn't like Harrison Ford?
In the beginning, I did.
Because he said there's
He
all
does
this,
just play himself, but I mean, he's
well,
like.
no, it's more along the Star Wars things. He said like Mark
'cause he
Hamill and Carrie.
hates,
Yeah.
Han
But I
Solo.
told him, like, dude, he's the one that paid the least amount of money of all of them in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So that's why he came back for fucking seven figures. I
He's
would
like,
too.
I hate nerds.
Fuck you guys.
He's like, fucking
Speaking of Harrison
nerds.
Ford, did either one of y'all see when he showed up at the Game Awards? this
Yeah,
year?
it's just like, I can't.
Well, he's like, apparently the teleprompter had issues all night, like because there were other people, like two other actors came out or actresses came out later on. They're like, well, we're just kind of riffing here because the teleprompter's not working. But he's like reading off. He's just like, and then, it starts going, I guess, and he like looks over to the, I think maybe it was Todd Howard that he's just like,
Yeah.
or no, he does that to both of them. Troy Baker and Todd Howard. He's like,
yeah. Wasn't it
Troy Baker's one did his voice in Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
right?
that's why he was up there with him.
That's
Yeah.
cool as shit.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
it
they.
was cool because it was Troy Baker and Todd Howard came out to present an award, and they were like talking, and they were making jokes like, yeah, well, you'd win in best indie actor of the year or whatever, and then they're like, but there was another guy that played him, and they start playing like Indiana Jones music, and the thing comes up, and Harrison Ford walks out.
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Now, I imagine they did motion capture on him for the game, and then Troy Baker did the voice.
No, Troy Baker did the motion capture too.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like scanning his body motion capture.
Yeah,
Oh, the vid, like the
yeah, kind of like what Predator did for Arnold.
probably, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but they actually got his voice on like Mortal Kombat 0 for 2.
What did you see? Who was it was like Laura Bailey, and then the dude who plays like Walt Jr. And they were like basically like fucking each other on stage. Like the tension was so weird.
No, not Walt Jr. It was Aaron Paul.
Yeah,
not
he
Aaron.
plays,
Is it Aaron? What's his name? The guy who plays in Breaking
Jesse.
Bad.
He plays Jesse.
Yeah, it's
Jesse.
Aaron Paul.
Okay,
We have to
for some reason I was like Aaron Paul,
Jesse.
but then I was like, is that the singer of Mice and Men? Like,
Jesse, we have to carve it.
but yeah, like dude, like their interaction, I was like,
Yeah,
these
I was
two
like,
were
they're fucking. There's something going on here. Like it's weird.
holy shit. Her and she's married to another like voice actor.
Yeah,
And
that
I just-
I missed the names. I thought you guys were talking about two guys fucking on stage.
No,
I'm like, okay,
it was-
let's go.
they were out there to like reveal like whatever this new game. It actually looks pretty funny, but it's a new game that they're in. Like they're sitting there interacting with each other. They're like super close together.
Yeah, they're like
and
looking each other in the eyes
dude, it's
and
like,
shit.
it's like they're fucking.
Yeah, like either one of them wants to fuck the other one, or they both want to fuck,
Yeah.
or
Or
they
they've
are
already done
fucking.
it.
Yeah, it's like holy shit.
Cody's
But-
like, they fucking. Like I don't know about I don't know about Aaron Paul, but this guy fucks.
but yeah. Anyway, what were we?
So we left off with those parts. I wanted to ask this question first because we didn't get into it. We always do it for the movies. What was your first interaction with anything Dracula, like either literary, like shows, cartoons, comic books, movies? Because there's been a shit ton. Pretty sure it's Dracula, Godzilla, and 007 are the top 3 most used characters in all media.
My first interaction with Dracula.
Dragging my nuts.
God.
Or a vampire. Like, what's your first vampire movie you watched?
Billy and Mandy.
Shut the hell up.
Well, I was gonna make a joke because I know the first time I saw Nosferatu was SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Robert Eggers said, he goes, I thank SpongeBob for bringing Nosferatu to the
Yeah,
forefront.
because I
It's
think
turned
you
out
shared the
meme, too.
gif of it, but it brought
Yeah.
back memories because I remember that episode is like in one of the early seasons. Like,
Oh, Nosferatu.
Yeah,
He's
Nosferatu.
They have it digitally.
because he's like sitting there turning the lights
Yeah, and
switch
he
on.
smiles.
But man, I don't know.
what was the first impressionable vampire thing you watched? So I got like 1 or 2 that popped in my head.
I don't know. It's I'm trying to think back. I mean, like...
Okay, well, let's go on to the other guy with glasses.
That guy with the glasses. We all three of us have fucking...
That was the point. It took him a second.
Do you mean like the first time I ever was like, oh, that's a vampire, that's a vampire?
Kind of.
Like the first time I was like, vampires are cool.
Yeah, first time they intrigued you.
So you guys might not know this, but there's a...
That's why I'm asking you.
Game called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
I know about that. Yeah.
That was the first thing I ever played where I was like, vampires are kind of cool.
Okay.
You know what? I remember now. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. That was my first like impressionable vampire experience.
What the fuck is that? I don't
Twilight.
know what it is.
So Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, you play as a vampire named Raziel, and there's it's actually like the third or the second or third game in that series or whatever.
Yeah.
And but you know you play as Kain in the other game, and
Undertaker's brother.
I remember in this in the CG cutscene in the beginning. Raziel presents himself to Kain, and like he's like the first vampire who's like developed the wings, right? And like Kain becomes envious and tears his wings off, and like he gets banished from like their
you're banished,
and he ends up coming back to life.
Oh, he's kind of...
And he's like he's like missing his bottom jaw and stuff. But,
Is that why he wears the little wrap?
Yeah, he wears like the wrap around his face.
Okay.
But yeah, that's probably my first like impressionable experience with vampire or anything.
Okay, so. For me, it's two movies. It's The Lost Boys.
And Twilight.
Blood Rain.
Blood Rain, yeah. But no, the original Lost Boys, Kiefer Sutherland, I thought he was just a cool fucking character. The blonde flat top like Sting. And had the little mullet part. And I just thought they were fucking cool. Like, the way they transformed. Their faces, like, fucking grew fucking... Like,
I've never seen Lost Boys.
You've never seen the original Lost Boys?
I've wanted to. That's a Romero movie, right?
No. That's fucking Schumacher. Joel Schumacher.
What's the Romero one?
Dawn of the Dead.
No, he made like a vampire thing.
Dead of the Dawn.
Yeah.
Does that one have a theme song? It's like "Cry Little Sister"? Or
yes.
whatever?
The Romero.
That's been covered by some bands you probably listen to.
Aiden is the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, they covered that, and then they also used some of those covers for the sequels that come out later on.
Mm-hmm.
Squeakles.
But this movie came out in '87. Don't ever look anything up. I'll pick it for the podcast after Jason.
The Romero movie I'm thinking of is Martin, is what it's called.
Okay.
Martin?
I don't know why I always confuse that with The Lost Boys. I think it's just because I think they're both from the 80s.
Yeah. So it's that one, and then there's a Jim Carrey vampire movie that's got comedy, and then there's a female vampire that's trying to turn him into her husband. She has two options. She can bite his neck once, or bite him by the dick 3 times.
For real?
Yes.
That's awesome.
So if she bites him by the dick twice, you see the 2 pincher marks. So that was the type of thing. Like, okay, and it's Jim Carrey, so that's probably like a earlier experience for Jim Carrey.
What movie was that?
I don't know what the fuck it's called. You asked me, like, what?
You got me in a corner here.
Dude, don't fucking call me out like that, Cody. Golly, damn!
What do you think I am, IMDb?
Hey. Cry little sister.
They should make a...
That's not
you know how they have, like...
all of that song.
No, that's a different song that references Lost Boys, but it's by Motionless in White.
You know how they have, like, the Internet Movie Car Database and the Internet Movie Firearm Database?
No, not really.
They should make a third one
I'm sorry.
called the Internet Movie Penis Database. And it could be a database for all penises.
Once bitten?
Once bitten, that's it. So
thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
So it was those two movies. Lost Boys is really fucking good. The aesthetic of vampires being attractive, it's like these permanently 20 to 22-year-old guys that you don't know the whole story of. There's 5 of them in a biker gang. When they transform into vampires, it's like they lose their eyebrows, their foreheads get way bigger. Kind of Nosferatu is creepy as hell. It's awesome. And then there's a twist at the end. You see who like turns them into a vampire. But it's got that fucking the kid in Friday the 13th Part 4 played in the Goonies, Corey Feldman, and Corey Haim. It was the first movie they ever did together. Eventually they did, was it the Goonies that they did together? It was Lean on Me.
You mean Stand By Me?
Oh, Stand By Me.
No, wait. Stand
By Me.
I think you're right. Stand By Me.
I mean,
was Corey Feldman in Stand By Me?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because when I think Stand By Me, I think of
Marty Feldman.
Fucking is it Seth Green in that movie when he's like a kid?
No, I knew who you're thinking of because there's one guy in there that's
Will Wheaton is who I'm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
So is it Stand By Me?
Will Wheaton.
let's see, Will Wheaton, Corey Feldman, River
Kiefer
Phoenix.
Sutherland's actually in Stand By Me also. So that came out around the same time. He had the same haircut. But...
And I won't.
So for me, that was the first experience. It's like, oh man, vampires are cool. And then eventually, like I said, watching AMC Horror Fest, they would play the old movies. And for me, interested to see how the story goes, I see the first Dracula. I'm like, oh, so what is the next Dracula movie? It's Dracula's daughter, and then Son of Dracula, and then there's Connected Universe. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, has all three of them in it. Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula. Frankenstein meets Dracula is the next one. And then
Abbott and Costello meet
that's
Frankenstein
where it ends.
or whatever.
That's the best one.
No, you joke. You joke. That is the best one.
Mm.
Other than the original Dracula movie, there's humor in it. It does not make fun of the characters. So it's kind of like when we get to watching Friday the 13th Part 6, or you watch Scream, there's a lot of human scenarios, but they're never making fun of the killer.
Yeah.
So you still take it seriously. So Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, you take them seriously. It's Abbott and Costello making everything else in this movie hilarious.
Mm.
And they actually get Bela Lugosi to come back to play Dracula. He only played Dracula twice. The original Dracula movie.
That's insane because like whenever you think
he
of
got
Dracula,
typecast. He didn't want to do the role anymore. He'd been stuck. He played Igor in the Frankenstein movie.
Yeah.
But which was Boris Karloff that played Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So he got stuck in these monster movies. Never wanted to do Dracula again. And then I don't know what it came around to. If he had one more movie on the contract, Universal's putting it out. Maybe he'd like to have it in Costello. If we ever cover it, I guess I'll get into it because I don't know the whole story. But he decided to come in. They had him. Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman came back. Boris Karloff could not do the Frankenstein role anymore because he's gotten older, but he was coaching the guy who was doing it on the set. Which so you have as much originality for the characters that everybody loves.
It's
no, don't.
And you're also walking in stilts though too.
Don't hold your arm like this. Hold your arm like this.
And then hold it like this. Make this motion.
My God.
You're pissed.
But yeah, so that you know, that for that. And then Nosferatu, my first experience like interaction would be the SpongeBob because I didn't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And then later on, I found out like, oh, so I'm like, what is the difference between him and Dracula? Oh, he is just a German Dracula. Is all it is.
He said, "Scheiße."
Could you imagine like Transylvania? You got 2 fucking counts.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make a movie where you have Dracula and Orlok.
Yeah.
They're on the opposite sides of the county, and all these fucking gypsies that live in the middle going, "This fucking sucks." They're like, God damn it, having to sacrifice here.
The camera like shows them like they're each like standing in their castles, just like staring at each other out the window, and eventually it cuts to one of them. They're just like,
Dracula.
Fuck
going,
you, Orlok.
Dracula goes, "Hey, what's your name?" He's like, "What? What's your name?" He's like, "Orlok." "Fuck you, Orlok." He's just like, "You better not say my mother."
"Hey,
your mother."
"Hey, how many concubines you have? Huh? None. I've got 3.
It's like, ugh.
Why did they do the virgin on the horse thing? What was that for?
Probably sacrificial lamb.
I thought they were trying to draw them.
I know she has bigger tits than the main actress, though.
Well, see, when that first happened,
why wasn't she the main actress? All about size of boobs, baby.
It threw me off when that scene first started, and they're like, "Oh yeah, lead her, like protect her as she goes or whatever."
Yeah,
and it's like, are they sending her up there as like?
That's what I thought at first too.
Yeah, I was sacrificed.
But
that would be like weirdly out of character because they're like religious.
I mean, you find out later it's a dream, right? But like they,
it's like he's got mud.
Or is it?
Yeah,
he either mud on the boots or he went to the shitter and stepped in it.
Yeah,
because he don't remember nothing.
But they don't lead her to. They don't lead her to the castle. They lead her to
that grave.
Yeah. So like it's like okay,
maybe a virgin on a white horse is like protected.
Maybe.
But the vampire in the grave wasn't Orlok though, was it?
No, I don't think so. I think
so. Maybe that was just his mind. I don't know. Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't even be in that like grave in it because he's got his own fucking little coffin in the castle.
So I think that my read on that was that it was just someone else they suspected of being a vampire. And I think that they play with the editing or whatever, where it's like, oh, it wasn't just a dream, but I think because he got the mud on his shoes, it's like, oh no, he was there. He just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then he stole his horse and cleared it out.
Yeah.
He said, "Where the fuck did everybody go?
Where's my horse?"
Like, what if it's just like a real like they weren't fucking with him? That's just how they do it. They're about to leave. It's like, it's our last day in this location for a year. We gotta go to the next location, and they just forget about it.
It's just like a traveling.
Hey,
like,
I don't
show.
remember this horse being ours. Grab him anyway, okay? And it's just all business, like an all misunderstanding. They're having to rotate.
They come back later on, and
like, where'd he go?
He's gone. And...
Well, it turns out, how about this? What if there are a bunch of squatters on Orlok's property, and they're up in their 60 days and have to leave, and they just don't tell him. They take his money. He goes, "You don't serve anyone else. You boys get out of here." And then he's like, "All right, just one more person. We'll take the money and they're gone."
Don't talk about this. Yeah, like after he cuts his hand, we were talking about it. He's like, so there's a scene where, and it's in Nosferatu. I don't
It's
remember
in
if
every
it's
fucking Dracula movie.
Okay, yeah,
ever.
where he cuts his little hand on the knife and it entices the count.
Because Gary Oldman's bouffant perks up whenever that happens.
Yeah, it pulsates. He's like, oh! It gets
I'm over
inflamed.
it. I got zoned out. I was thinking about the chicks in Bram Stoker's Dracula. I told Savannah, I was like, "Look, there's a lot of titties in this movie," and she thought I undersold it.
Yeah, that movie is honestly more sexual than this one.
100%, but the titties are nice.
That's because Coppola was like, I want to make like a, it's like want to be
Yeah, but
porn.
I will say this: the smallest boobs in Bram Stoker's Dracula's movie is bigger than the biggest boobs in this movie. I'll just say this.
That's what you come here to listen to, folks.
Like
We got the news.
We got the news, baby.
We got the news.
But no, like from a, I'm trying to think, man, because is there a bad performance in this movie? You guys are like,
I don't think
I
so.
was bitching about Miss Depp, but that was about it.
I mean,
is it because she's related to Johnny?
Yeah.
Are you an Amber Heard fan?
Yeah,
Cody loves Amber Heard too. You
on that.
guys should discuss.
as solidarity with Amber Heard, he also shat in his bed.
My dog stepped
Oh
on a
my
bee.
god!
No, I think, and we talked about this too when you mentioned it earlier, but I think that Depp's like performance is fitting because she is the one that like all this stuff is like surrounding.
Yeah.
So her like being like, as you put it, she's very dramatic or whatever.
Yeah. So I guess I should just say for the audience, she was playing like it felt to me like in the beginning, especially until she gets into like all the crazy possession shit, that she's kind of like it feels like she knows she's in a period piece, so she's doing like the I do declass or fucking
Mr. Bogart.
Yeah, just
you
like
are my hero.
I'm like
and she wakes up, she's like
I'm a
sleep?
Victorian lady kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think it all fits well.
Yeah,
I
can see that, but I didn't have a problem with it. To be honest with you, it didn't come across as pretentious. I think she's working her ass off to make it work.
Yeah, I guess so. But
Versus-
she's the only one that made me like be like, okay, like I can tell that you're putting this on.
And she's not super experienced either.
Yeah, maybe I'm just being
No. I understand what you're saying. I'm just looking at it from a perspective of like, I don't know if Anna Joy Taylor,
Anya Taylor-Joy,
not Anna Nicole
John LaJoy.
John LaJoy. I don't think she could have done a better job in this role.
Yeah, I would agree as
If I'm
well.
gonna be completely honest.
What I had said earlier was that I think that there's some scenes that she could have done better, but there's some scenes that I don't think so. And like to me, it would have felt a little more awkward if it was Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, and I just have to say for Rose Depp, you have to act really fucking stupid on camera.
By the way, her last name is not Rose Depp. Her first name is Lily Rose.
Oh, Lily Rose.
Yeah,
Okay, I thought it was hyphen that.
No, her first name's hyphenated, so it's Lily-Rose.
My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. I made that same mistake literally until I just looked this up.
Okay.
But
But Miss
look to see what
Depp,
else she was in.
she has to act really fucking stupid on camera when she's having seizures and shit. There's no book on how to make that shit look great.
Yeah,
And
I thought she did a
made
good
it
job
look
at that.
natural,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like her when she's doing the possession shit, she does a good job. It's just when she's doing that kind of like in the beginning, like the
Just
normal
straightforward,
lady,
yeah.
like a normal 18.
But yeah, I love like
Hundreds,
I think she does really well in those scenes where like the possession part of it's starting to come on and she's like starting to like seize or whatever,
Yeah.
but she's still trying to like maintain control sort of.
Yeah.
It's like that stuff's awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think the weakest role, and it's just because this guy has very little screen
the children.
The children,
They-
Papa,
Okay, I got a question with the children just a second, Cody. For you specifically.
Uh-huh.
It's the guy who plays the doctor.
Doctor Who.
Richard Ennens.
The one that played in The Witch.
Yeah, and that's just because he wasn't in the movie a lot.
I thought he did good though. I mean, he's.
No, I thought he did good. But I'm just saying, if I had to put a weakest actor, would just be that. Just because
he had to execute somebody.
If I had to shoot somebody in the fucking head, it would be him.
Out of all the actors in the movie, he's the one that's like the most straightforward 100% of the time.
Yeah.
There's no hysterics. There's no. Like, he's very much
he
like
should have some hysterics, though.
Yeah.
They're like, what, you didn't...
He
no
just
one
starts crying. Doctor, what's the prognosis?
Even in the end, when they walk in and, like, they see, Orlok's dead, and, like, he's just kind of, like, casual.
Yeah,
like,
he is
like,
kind of stoic.
Whatever,
cool. Is that a butthole?
Just another day.
Willem Dafoe did pretty good, but Willem Dafoe does fucking good at everything.
Oh yeah, Willem Dafoe's great. And
he kind of does play himself a little bit though, because he's always like the eccentric.
It's hard to do Willem Dafoe's voice, but just it's so funny.
And he played Nosferatu before.
No, did he?
There's a movie in the 2000s that came out with John
Jacob Jingleheimer Smith.
It's like Peter Parker.
No, it's a movie about making the movie of Nosferatu.
Oh, okay.
And he plays Max Schreck, who is the actor who played Nosferatu, and they're like, is he a real person? And he turns out he's actually killing people for real on camera and shit. So William Dafoe plays Nosferatu in that movie.
Yeah.
And then it's John
Cena.
Not John Cusack. Con Air. What the fuck is his name? Hold on. I gotta find out his name.
But while you look that up,
No.
there's
Hold on a second. Awkward pause.
There was when they first introduced his character. It's so like, because Willem Dafoe, like, he can like do like slight accents on his voice, but he always has that.
John Malkovich.
Oh,
so he played
John Malkovich.
Yeah, so John Malkovich plays the director of the movie.
Yeah,
he said, "Stop killing my fucking actors."
So Cody, what I was going to ask you before about the children, as a noted person
children
of the corn.
Don't stop dancing.
Cody, I was going to ask you, so as somebody who is perpetually annoyed with children in public and does not like children, when the children got killed, did you cheer in this movie?
No.
Yeah, you did.
You were sitting right next to it.
And you know what? I'm not going to lie to you.
You thought you saw him jump up?
Yes!
No. It wasn't that. It was more subtle. When it happened, he was like...
yes.
He slightly raised his fist and gritted his teeth. He was like...
Clenches up a
then
little bit.
He looked at me and looked back and he's like...
nobody saw that, right?
So since you did bring that scene up, I don't know if we've talked about this on the recording before we started, but it is like surprising that scene. That scene is very surprising, like how like graphic it is.
Yeah.
He was like, "Mommy, crunch."
Yeah. Because he's got like,
it's
in shadow, but yeah, you see their little bodies and they're being like held up like rag dolls.
Yeah, and he just drops
like me holding my little wrestling buddy Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. Like,
yeah.
One arm, like, I'm so strong.
He plays with me. He's like, "It's okay, Mommy. We're all right.
Look, Mommy, look.
Mommy, the big man is just giving us a hug."
Just turns into a scene from Deadly Silence. It just turns him into
That'd
like
been even
puppets.
funnier if like the one daughter he hadn't been into yet looked at her mom and goes, "Stranger danger, crunch."
But yeah,
I need an adult. I am an adult.
It was a little shocking that it was as graphic as it was, because I kind of expected, like, she was gonna, obviously they're calling for help, but I was expecting, like, by the time she goes in there, like, they're already dead, just like laying there or something.
Yeah, but no, one's dead. He's latched onto that one, then he latches onto the next one.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck.
And then he just, like, he's holding them up in the air and just, like, drops and then just, like, crumbles.
So, another thing I was going to ask you guys, I think with the Nosferatu adaptation, there's no other vampires. When he drains their blood, they die.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, so is he trying to turn Miss Depp into...
I think he's just trying to fuck her and suck her.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's all it is, but it's like, because I'm pretty sure Orlok, they don't turn into vampires, they just die. Everybody dies of the plague. Whereas in Dracula, he can turn them into vampires or kill them if he wants to. It just depends on where he bites their dick or not.
Yeah. Once bitten.
Once bitten, baby.
But yeah, I think, at least based on this movie, that is my interpretation of it too, is that he doesn't turn anybody.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
Although, again, if the scene in the forest earlier in the movie where they go to that grave is real, then maybe they have reason to believe that he does turn other people, unless it's just people that he's killed. And they just
that scene felt very much like we're sacrificing this to the gods.
Yeah.
Very the pagan from the Northman. Because remember, like that, but they have that scene where some of the animals have been ripped apart and nailed on the walls. So it's like, maybe it's the Christians. You know, they sacrificed, their God got destroyed or whatever and got reborn, how they were put in the movie. Maybe it's similar to that. Like I said, that scene does kind of feel out of place when you think about it. Because nothing leads up to it. They're gypsies, but they seem to be praying to God. But also gypsies, as the character in The Mummy, I can't remember the guy's name. Remember when, like, this is the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie. When the mummy goes from, he's pulling out Star of David, crucifix, he's like, oh, okay, he's praying to all the gods. Yeah. And then the Imhotep goes, you speak the language of the Jewish slaves, you have use for me. And so it's one of those things. It's real kind of funny, like with Imhotep, the mummy. That movie came out in like 35-ish, and they said it was too similar to Dracula. Instead of being a 500 years old walking plague, he's a 3,000-year-old walking plague. But after they killed Imhotep in that first movie, they had more mummy movies, but they made an identical mummy named Kaharis. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of similar to, like, Nosferatu is just an identical of Dracula, and they just used it for this. I'm just like, it's just weird because, like I talked about it with you guys before. When it comes to the rights, you know, Nosferatu is public domain, but he still has enough. Like, the courts have ruled 100 years ago that it was an adaptation of Dracula.
Right. Which now doesn't matter because Dracula itself is public domain.
Yeah, but Universal still, like, all the movies, they're the ones that put them out.
Right,
If Marvel could use their own Dracula like they have in the comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
And DC could too, but they're not going to.
That's the thing, right? Is like, Universal has some sort of rights over Dracula to a certain extent.
It's the same thing like Frankenstein, right? Like, I mean, you can have a
Wolfman. The Wolfman movie that's coming out we talked about, that's from Universal.
Yeah.
And Nosferatu is the what do you call it here?
But it's the same. It's the same thing as, like, for example, when Steamboat Willie became public domain. It's like, you can technically use that version of Mickey Mouse however you want, but you can't do it in the same context that Disney owns that property.
You can't use the red trunks.
So distributed by its focus features internationally will be Universal Pictures. Yeah. So even though it's not Dracula, Universal is still going to get a little piece of this pie. Yeah. Which is just interesting to me because they released 2 Dracula films last year. None of them made good money. Renfield and The Last Voyage of Demeter. But I just find that the rights of that kind of stuff interesting from a perspective. And this movie was, I mean, you could have fooled me. The budget of this movie is less than $50 million. Mm-hmm. So this had less money than Deadpool did, the original Deadpool. And Ryan Reynolds made it out like they had no money for that movie. This movie had like almost no money, if that's what's considered, and he made it. He stretched every fucking dollar.
Yeah, what's crazy is, I mean, Eggers is used to having. I mean, The Northman is really the only, like, somewhat big budget film he's made, right? So, his other movies are all very low budget. I think, like, The Witch was something like $9 million or something like that.
It's so funny to me how movies, it's like, well, low budget's like 10 mil.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, have you ever seen, like, a movie? So, like, I was watching, like, Peter Jackson's, like, first movies, and the first movie he made had, like, an $11,000 budget. It is, like, he has some good homemade effects, but, like, it is, like, the fucking most amateurish production ever.
Yeah.
But it's, like, that's a lot of fucking money to me.
You gotta think, too, like, look at, like, the actors that are in this movie. I mean, a lot of the budget is their salary or whatever. Yeah. So,
I mean, he built all the sets, the city.
Yeah.
They showed, like, behind the scenes, like, that was released on YouTube. Like, it is built, like, set.
And
it all looks fucking
I love
great.
Filmmakers that do that nowadays when it's probably a lot easier just to do the CG thing. But 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, this movie will still look good.
Yeah. I mean, even if there was CG.
Anybody watch it?
Well, if I'm alive, probably. But
if there's nobody left, then I am not here. Or however the fuck that joke goes. Like, if there's
nobody left on the planet, no.
If there's 1 million Robert Eggers fans, I am one of them. If there's one Robert Eggers fan, it is me. Or whatever the fuck the joke goes.
I know what you're talking about now.
But, I mean, I heard that when I was going into it, they were like, there's some CGI and shit in it. I heard there was going to be a lot, but I really didn't notice. I mean, outside of, like, maybe some of the more
what CGI are you seeing other than, like, Orlok dissolving at the end?
Yeah.
And then
that was real. They really
rats.
killed Alex Skarsgård.
They're like the rats inside the room. Yeah, I know. The rats inside the room when he's setting the fire on everywhere. They seemed like rats were popping up out of nowhere. Those rats were CGI. They had to have been.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had some rats in there.
It could be.
You film them and then you just multiply.
Right. Yeah.
The
Because
screen.
anytime I think of an effect like that, I think of The Dark Knight Rises with the scene where like the Gotham football team's playing.
Yeah.
And they. In the behind the scenes, they show like, okay, we filled like this one section of the bleachers with people, and then we just went in and like copied it all around the stadium.
That's what they do in Episode 2 of Star Wars.
Like that movie's like 98% CG.
A more subtle approach to this.
Oh man.
It's like, fuck your fucking practical effects. I don't give a fuck.
But yeah, this must have as much.
10 years from now, what looks better? Nosferatu in this movie or Jabba the Hutt and Phantom Menace?
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Jabba the Hutt and the Phantom Menace.
What about Jabba the Hutt in Return
You
of the
only
Jedi?
see him like in a wide shot too.
Well,
like,
it depends if it's OG or no. It's still Nosferatu.
Okay, how about this? Nosferatu in this movie or Goro in the 95 Mortal Kombat movie?
What were you gonna say, Owen?
That's a legitimate question.
I was just saying that you only see Jabba in like a wide shot anyway in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I know, but that's just all CGI. I'm talking about the Return of the Jedi, the big rubber suit, practical effect. I thought that looked good.
Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say. Yeah, this must have probably about as much CGI as like The Witch. I mean, I would have to think.
Yeah, no, it's
pretty limited.
I would say, well, I mean, it's probably but not as much as the Northman. The Northman has quite a bit of CGI.
Yeah, and even then, that didn't look bad. That didn't look bad either.
I'm getting to the point now. CGI to me, I don't care if it looks bad or not. It don't take me out of movies anymore. Because you see some bad practical effects. Well, you'll see the strings on those practical effects. You watch old movies. I got no problem.
It's very noticeable in movies where it's like, oh, this is supposed to take place in the real world, and like literally,
the
majority of it is CGI. You know, so that's kind of like off-putting.
Venom.
Well, I mean, Venom is like, how else are you gonna do it?
It's a
You're not gonna make a
superhero
practical Venom suit.
When you go into a superhero movie, you have to like expect there to be like every action scene is going to be nothing but fucking CGI.
I mean, I think from a CGI perspective, like the Venom: The Last Dance, like the way they make Venom's eyes move when he's just the alien head talking to Tom, he looks all sad and shit. That shit looks really good. Like they perfected it when he got to that 6 years. This, Nosferatu in his little butthole. Tight little butthole.
I didn't really see. I mean, I looked
there's
at his
a big
ass.
gaping hole where his ass used to be.
I looked at his little mummy ass, but I didn't see the hole.
You didn't see the hole there? It looked like look like a cavity?
I didn't see it either because the first thing I was looking at his upper body because at first I didn't realize he was like disheveled.
I saw his legs,
and then I looked at his legs. Like, wait a minute, his legs. Are
He's got like a mummy ass going on.
And then, like, by the time I looked toward the middle, like, I saw, like, his pelvic bone, and then, like, it cut away, you know.
No, I saw the ass.
That's how I want to go out.
Ass up, inflamed. It's like ass up, inflamed, poison ivy up my ass. That's the way I want to go.
If you think about it, he was dying while he was fucking, so.
Yeah, but he really wasn't fucking. But he probably fucks. I mean, that penis probably doesn't work, though.
He said,
you do see vampire dick for a good 3 seconds. He just stands up. It's a flopper, though. It's not rock hard. It'd been really fucking weird if you tried to kill him. He just got his dick.
He sounds a huge hard cock. He's like,
so, you know how you
horrifying.
See... Okay, now, you know how you see...
It's got the Nosferatu fangs on the end.
Yeah, like the two.
Now, here's the best part. You see the shadow...
It's got like pointy ears.
You know, the big thing in this movie is Nosferatu's shadow. Like, you see his hand go across the city, which is a great fucking effect.
Yeah.
But he also does it to...
Open the doors and shit.
Yeah, for Thomas's character to do it. What if it was just a shadow of his dick? He's like... And his dick's like... he turned around, opened the door, and he still has his cock out. Like,
that was really cool when he, like, did the mind control on him to make him open the door and shit. I don't remember that being in the Herzog version. So
yeah, but see, Dracula has the hypnotizing like power in all the movies. It's a vampire.
I'm mind controlling you right now.
You want me to suck your dick?
Yes.
Okay.
I do know. Oh wait, yeah, because I'm mind controlling.
This is not the vampire you're looking for.
Unless you're mind controlling me, to mind control you to like you suck my dick.
So real quick, while we're in here, I just want to ask: can any of you guys communicate telepathically?
Yeah.
There are 4 of them.
Whoa, holy shit.
I wish Cody doesn't find that funny. I think it's the greatest thing in the world.
There are 4 of them.
Because you've got a riffraff talking to Limp Bizkit,
Yeah.
and it's like they're having like this little round table meeting, and it's in the dark, and he goes, "Can any of you guys communicate telepathically?" And Fred Durst goes, "I can," and he looks at Wes Borland, and he's like, and Wes is like, "There are 4 of them," and then he's like this, and then it comes back to riffraff and goes, "These guys are nugging futs." I think it's the greatest fucking thing in the world.
There are 4 of them.
But no, he's like, "Can any of you guys communicate telepathically?"
So
No.
I think let's wrap this up.
Why? You were having so much fun though. People loved our old shit. It's 3:49. It takes you 30 minutes to get
It
home.
takes 45 minutes to get home from
If
here.
you speed it, don't.
Would you
You're-
recommend the movie?
It's a one watch for everybody. Everybody can watch this movie, enjoy it one time. If you're a cinephile,
And
you'll
then you
probably
have
watch
to-
it multiple times.
Like,
I won't
like
go
Michael
pay.
Bolton.
You have to destroy it after you watch it.
Keira Knightley, Jack Sparrow. I wouldn't go pay to see this again. I'm gonna wait for it to come out. I'll buy the Blu-ray just to support a great movie. It is a great movie, well made, well shot. Everything you said. There's the worst part about this movie would be better than most movies' best parts. I'll say that. It's great. It is boring. Like, once you see the beats, I'm not going to go back and rewatch this movie and be like, man, I got the same feeling from it. That's never going to happen. There's nothing about this movie that has a rewatchable factor for me. Like, it's kind of like going back and rewatching The Batman. Like, I tried to do it. Can't fucking do it. I get bored halfway through. I got to turn it off. I'll go back and rewatch, like, Spider-Man No Way Home. Or, like, no, the Spider-Man movies, 1 and 2, specifically, the Tobey Maguire ones.
Or The Thing. What about The Thing?
The Thing. I can go back and watch that movie once every 6 months. That's a great fucking movie. We talked about this when we were at lunch. Like, there's a lot of movies I'll sit there and watch throughout the year. I can watch The Fugitive at any time. I can watch Christmas Vacation. There's a rewatchability factor. This movie, for me, great, perfect. One of these days might be put into the Smithsonian Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Or the library that Lucas won't give the original Star Wars movies to.
Library of Congress.
Library of Congress. One of these days that movie might make it in there because it's such a great movie. But rewatchability, no.
Okay.
This is a one-shot movie in the purest sense. I don't think it lived up to the hype. Because I was going into it like, I went into it thinking, like, man, I was fucking stoked. Like, I haven't felt this excited. I was excited for Venom: The Last Dance, but for a horror movie, I had not been this excited before, and I haven't felt this excitement since Spider-Man: No Way Home. Like, man, fuck yeah, we're gonna watch the movie. Part of it's like I get to watch with you guys. Like, this is gonna be cool shit. We get to hang out in person, and this dude's gonna fucking kill this movie. And then he killed the movie, but it's like, there's no unpredictability.
Yeah,
in the movie.
You were familiar with the plot, so that has what has turned you.
Yeah,
on.
if you're familiar with the plot of Dracula, if you like vampires in general, this movie won't be terrifying.
So you don't think this is like, so if you had to choose,
This isn't Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. When it's
well, I mean,
let's
let's say hypothetically you want to watch a version of Dracula. Which one are you choosing? You want to watch one that's like as closest to like the fucking real thing, or not? Let's just
Okay, so
cut that out.
I would watch. Okay, no, you're right though. No, if I'm gonna pick 3 movies for you,
Okay.
and it's just based on rewatchability factor. I'm gonna watch the Dracula Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein because his performance is great in it.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be completely honest, I would probably rewatch one of the Christopher Lee Dracula movies that came out in the 70s, probably the first one. He's terrifying as Dracula. Because he's like 6'3" as an old guy as Count Dooku. He's fucking huge in those movies. And he's
like,
a
I
great
killed
actor. And you
people.
got Peter Cushing as Van Helsing, who is Grand Moff Tarkin in A New Hope. And also, like, Lost Boys would be a vampire movie I'd watch. This one right here, I'll watch it. I'll watch it with Savannah one more time. I couldn't get my dad to sit down and watch this movie. My mom sure as fuck wouldn't watch it. You know, it's something that we did for this podcast. It's great. It's like The Northman. I probably wouldn't watch it again. You know, I'd probably rewatch The Witch at some point because that movie was generally terrifying. But to me, it's like, oh man, cool. I know the beats of it.
Yeah.
And there's no like satisfying death for Orlok. he gets almost like a loving embrace as he's dying.
Yeah.
And this is a non-redeeming character. Like he should have had some kind of like come up in. So that's just from a general perspective. So, but yeah, I definitely recommend it for a one watch, at least for everybody. From that point on, you'll have your own opinion, but I won't rewatch it again.
Okay. What about you, Owen?
So yeah, I liked it. I think this is probably out of the three. Well, really, I've only watched the Werner Herzog one. But I liked this. I thought it was a really good adaptation. I enjoyed it. I liked how just the overall aesthetic and kind of the tone of everything was very nice. I just think it was very well done. I liked it. I think if I want to watch a spooky vampire thing, I'll probably watch this again.
Okay. Yeah, I do recommend it. I think it's great. Robert Eggers has yet to disappoint with his films. I do agree with Lance. If you're familiar with the beats of Dracula, then it's very predictable as you go through, but it's still a very well-made movie that's worth watching. Yeah. Probably the best, Dracula-esque movie or whatever in a very long time.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Probably since Coppola's Dracula back in the 90s or whatever. So
I would say, yeah. And if I don't want it to come across as I'm disrespecting the movie. Everything about the movie is great, but from a personal taste, not an objective taste.
Yeah.
It was like, fuck, there could have been just a little bit of difference.
You were hoping he was changing some stuff to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's been 102 years.
Yeah.
This was a ripoff of a novel in the first place. Do something different. You're making it better in the first place.
I just think Eggers didn't.
I do like the look of Dracula.
Yeah.
Or Warlock.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I think that he was just maybe just wanted to pay his I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like this was his hyper. From what sounds like he's been talking about, this was his hyper interest movie that he was
this is his passion project.
Yeah, I think so.
He did. I don't think he wanted to come in and be like, I can change some stuff and make it better. He just probably came in as I want to make the best version of this.
I want to make vampires scary. I want the story to be good. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. Like I said, the worst performance in this movie is better than the best performance in most movies. I just think, just from the predictability standpoint, this movie for me was just oh, okay. I was hoping. I remember telling him, hoping the ending's different, just a little bit, and then it's fuck, it really wasn't. And it's and then it just kind of ends. You're okay, cool. I don't know if I'll watch it again. Beautiful movie, absolutely beautiful. So I would recommend it. I feel bad. I feel like I'm the outsider, the simple Jack.
No. So just to wrap it up,
what's the next movie?
Our next movie.
After?
It'll be the THX 1138.
Okay.
Yeah,
the next movie after this will be THX 1138. I try to get the sound from the intros to all of Lucas movies, and it wouldn't let me download it. I'll try it again though.
But so our release order, because this is technically my episode for this cycle. So the next one will be THX, and then we'll start the cycle with Logan. Okay. And then it'll be whatever Owen's next movie is.
And you can cut this part out. So what are we recording next? We just recorded Logan.
We're recording whatever
I think.
Next. Okay, have you made a decision yet?
Have you guys ever seen? I watched this movie a little while ago. It's called Butt Boy.
What is it?
It's called Butt Boy.
No.
It is the fucking dumbest movie ever. No, actually, it's it's really funny, but it's I don't know. I really wanted to show you guys a quick trailer, but I think that might be what I'm picking next because it's so fucking I don't know. It was really an enjoyable watch.
I mean, is it worse than Freddy Got Fingers?
No, it's a lot more competent and intelligent than that.
Butt Boy.
Yeah, the initial concept is here. I can just show you. Do you want to wrap this up?
No. Let's wrap it up.
I'll keep going another 15 minutes.
Thanks everyone for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, share.
On YouTube, Spotify, get on Google. We're on there. We have Twitter accounts. We don't have Blue Sky because Blue Sky is fucking weird. Cody, do you ever get on Blue Sky anymore?
Yeah, every day. I don't use X at all.
I know you deleted it.
All it is
it upsets me. It sucks. I got nobody to talk to. Just Jacob, and it's okay. So but everyone, thank you for watching, filming, listening, whatever, consuming Filmoscopy. Sarah and Alex, appreciate you both. And as always, finish him
off.